Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Tinder Gone Wrong. My best friend, 25 female, thinks I, 25 female, ruined a relationship and now she won't talk to me. After high school, I moved out of state for college. I always kept in touch with my best friend Anna, and we kept each other informed about guys we were seeing and all that stuff. After college, about 6 months ago, I moved back to my home state, about an hour away from my hometown. About a month ago, I decided, since I was settled finally, to start getting back into the dating game, so I joined Tinder. Instantly, I met this really awesome guy named John. It turns out that John was up in my part of the state for work, but that he actually lives in my hometown. I started to realize that he looked familiar and asked if we went to elementary school together or if he attended my church as a kid. He said he just moved to the state a couple of years ago, and I chalked it up as him having one of those faces. We started chatting and hit it off pretty quickly. I told him I wasn't big into social media and he said he wasn't either, so we exchanged numbers and started texting to communicate. Even though he lived an hour away, he commutes to my town a lot for work, and since neither of us was looking for anything serious, we figured this was a pretty awesome setup. After a while, our conversations turned a bit sexual, with some sexy pics being sent from his side and comments about hooking up when he came back. We set up a date to have lunch and meet when he got back. During this time, I had told Anna all about him, and when I finally told her we were going to meet up, she asked for a picture. I sent her one, not one of the sexy ones, obviously, and was surprised to find out that she had dated him for a short time, a couple of weeks, a few years back. I asked if she was okay with me seeing him, and she said she didn't care, but that she was positive he had a girlfriend. She sent me his full name so I could find him on Facebook, and sure enough, he was in a relationship. I was pissed. I instantly sent him a message confronting him. He apologized profusely and said it was a big mistake to talk to me on Tinder. I told him he should be apologizing to his girlfriend, but he begged me not to tell. I told him to F off and blocked his number. After that, I screenshot all the messages we had sent, including him admitting to his guilt and sending his girlfriend a Facebook message. I told her I felt awful for having even a small role in his potential infidelity and that I thought she should know. I haven't gotten a message back and I don't think I will, but I felt what I did was the right thing to do. Fast forward to a couple of days ago when I came back home and went out for lunch with Anna. She asked me what ended up happening with John and I told her. She instantly got furious and started saying stuff like I had no business interfering with other person's relationships and how could I destroy a relationship I wasn't a part of? I got really defensive and told her that he made me a part of their relationship when he tried to cheat on his girlfriend with me. She told me I was disgusting and an awful person for what I did and that I had no business messaging John's girlfriend. Then she paid and left. She hasn't talked to me since. I feel like I did the right thing, but the way Anna reacted and how she refuses to talk to me anymore is making me question everything. Was it right to get involved and message his girlfriend? How can I get Anna to talk to me again? Well, OP, in my opinion, you did the right thing by exposing this douche to his girlfriend. And I absolutely agree with your point. He's the one that made you a part of their relationship because he was the one that was making you the person he was going to cheat on with. A grade A douche, this one, telling you he wanted to hook up with you but then apologizing and asking you not to tell his girlfriend when he got caught. I shouldn't have spoken to you in Tinder. Nah, dude, you shouldn't be on Tinder. Now, your friend's reaction is very weird and her logic is downright wrong. Like something just doesn't add up. She dated this guy in the past. Maybe she dated him while he was dating somebody else or something along those lines? I mean, why tell you that he has a girlfriend and then get furious at you and actually stop talking to you because you exposed him? That just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense that she'd do that. So yeah, I think she's kind of compromised in some way. What about you guys? What do you guys think is going on here? Or what would you do if you were in OP's shoes regarding her friend's situation? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Or maybe she knew about his infidelity and didn't say anything and she thinks the girlfriend is going to be pissed when she finds out? I don't know, but it's pretty clear there's some backstory here, and I bet it's the non-romantic relationship between Anna and the girlfriend. And Opie responds, "That's a good shout. I never thought she could have a relationship with the girlfriend. I remember her vaguely talking about John and seeing his pictures, which is why he looked so familiar, but I don't ever remember hearing more about him. I know she's adamantly against cheating, so it'd be really surprising if she was hooking up with him while he was with his girlfriend." Rabbit in his belly says, "I'm not sure what Anna is so mad about. It's probably something to do with her being jealous. If she's a good friend, she'll get over it soon enough and apologize for her knee-jerk reaction. If that happens and this isn't a regular occurrence, I'd let it go. However, I just wanted to add, I really admire how you handled the situation. You most certainly did the right thing. You sound like a badass, honestly." And Opie responds, "I'm hoping she'll realize how outlandish her reaction was because I really miss her, but I do feel like it needed to be done. And thanks, I'm not a badass. Just girl looking out for my fellow girl about a-holes." Let's Get Dangerous says, quote, "My best friend thinks that I ruined a relationship," end quote. Hold the phone. That relationship was already ruined. The dude was cheating on his girlfriend, and this is somehow your fault because you exposed it? What does your friend think? That the relationship was 100% okay as long as the girl didn't know she was dating a scumbag who was effing other people? If someone were to tell your friend that her kitchen was on fire, would she blame them or thank them and call the fire department? You saved this girl from a world of hurt. You saved her from getting STDs. And your buddy is all pissy about it because of what reason exactly? There was literally no benefit to keeping quiet, only misery and misfortune for another person. Additional information from Opie's comments. I tried asking her if someone has cheated with her and she just kept saying that it would be their business and that it's not anyone else's business to meddle in their relationship. But the thing that baffles me is that she hates cheaters. But she kept saying that it was none of my business if her boyfriend decided to cheat. I just don't get it. If I had a boyfriend who was trying to pick up girls on the sides, I'd want to know. I'm just trying to help a poor girl who doesn't know what the guy is doing behind her back. Maybe she thinks ignorance is bliss. It's making me question if she'd ever had my back if I had a boyfriend who was sneaking around behind my back. I honestly don't think she knows the girlfriend, but it may be that she was with John while he was still in the relationship all those years ago. That's the only way I can make sense of her reaction. Also, Anna doesn't hang out with John, so she wouldn't be in any aftermath. I gained nothing from it, but I feel as though telling his girlfriend was the right thing to do. If I was in her position, I'd want someone to tell me if I was dating an a-hole. If she doesn't want to know, then she can ignore my message and keep dating him. Alright, well, the community agrees with what OP did, and I still do, and apparently there is something fishy going on here because I wasn't the only one to pick up on it. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I didn't think I would need to update, especially after hearing nothing from John's girlfriend after the first couple of days, but here I am. First off, thanks for the comments and PMs. I know I did the right thing and I was confused by Anna's reaction. But the support that poured in due to my post helped so much. Thank you. Now, Anna still wasn't talking to me when my trip home came to an end, so I just drove back to my city and went on about my life. She ended up calling me middle of last week and said she wanted to talk about what happened. She still believed that what I did was effed up and she didn't approve. I asked her if she would ever tell me if she found out a future boyfriend of mine was cheating on me, and she said, "Of course, but that's because I know you." I told her I didn't see the friendship stranger status as an excuse to let a guy be crappy to his girlfriend. After a while of back and forth with the same arguments, I told her that we can agree to disagree and leave it at that. She said okay and we hung up. After I hung up, I decided to check my Facebook and lo and behold, there was a message from John's girlfriend in my inbox from 2 days before. I was kind of nervous to read it, but it just said, "Are you in this town right now?" I replied that I wasn't, and an hour later I got another message asking if I could call her and her number. I was super nervous because I had no idea what I was going to be walking into, but I figured if it got too bad, I could hang up and block her number. I called her and it was a very awkward greeting, and then she asked me to tell her everything that happened. I obliged and told her exactly what happened. I could tell she was crying on the other end, which broke my heart, and I started apologizing, but she told me not to. She was grateful that I told her. Apparently, John and she have been together for close to 4 years, and he cheated on her a lot during the first year of being together until she found out. He promised he'd never do it again, and she took him back. She said she was always really paranoid he would cheat again, but he never showed signs or anything out of the ordinary. I apologized for being the spotlight on what an ass he was. We kind of got to chatting after a while after that, and after a while she switched from the depression to the anger stage, and I let her vent. At the end of it all, she said she was finally going to leave him, which I agreed with, and then said that if I'm ever back in town that she'd like to buy me a coffee, which I thought was a nice gesture and I might take her up on the offer. After the phone call, I was really relieved and happy about how things turned out. I went to go text Anna to tell her, but then I remembered that John's girlfriend said they were dating for 4 years, so I texted Anna and asked her when she dated John. It was 2 years ago. She must have known that he was dating another girl, and that's why she was so effing pissed. I'm not going to tell John's girlfriend since she's done with him, hopefully, and doesn't need any more heartache. I mean, Anna could have not known and then found out and dumped him. But I feel like if that's what happened, she would have told me when she warned me that he had a girlfriend. In any case, I'm definitely going to cut Anna out of my life. It's something I've been thinking about since this isn't the only instance where our morals and opinions differ. We have been friends for a long time, but I do think I need to distance myself from her. Most for the way she blew up at me and never really apologized for it. I mean, even if I'm wrong, I apologize to her for how I reacted to something. She just didn't really care. She left me hanging dry for a week. I'd call and she wouldn't answer. I'd text and she wouldn't respond. No sorry or anything when we talked again. I felt like I was being punished for something that did really affect her. I don't know, it's hard to figure out what to do, but I am going to take a step back from the friendship for now. All in all, it turned out okay for pretty much everyone involved except for John, which is good because F that dude. Well, OP, good for you. You told the girlfriend what was going on and she thanked you for it, which is all the validation you need regarding what you did. If you did ever need any, but that's beside the point. And regarding your friendship with Anna, maybe putting some distance between the two of you is a good thing. Sometimes you just grow out relationships or you drift apart because of different things. And you never truly end up getting to know someone, so now you just know more about Anna and maybe this is a good thing. In any case, OP, all the best in the future and take care. Thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Hippo Singularity. You want to use my truck wash on your car? I do not feel sorry for what is about to happen here. Concrete mixers are big, ungainly things. Trying to maneuver them around a crowded job site is like trying to play miniature golf with a tennis ball. The biggest problem is, of course, other people, specifically other people's cars. Nobody is going to lug 50 pounds of tools any further than they have to, so if there is an open space near where they want to be, they park there, never mind that it is right next to a sidewalk or directly across from a driveway that a crew is obviously prepping. It only makes things worse when it's done by people who should know better, and done intentionally. So we're pumping grout walls in the late afternoon, which already has me in a bit of a mood. Grout jobs tend to be very slow. Each cylinder block has 2 cells, and the crew pumps the grout into those cells, filling them all the way up to the top of the wall. Grout is really just a term for a weak concrete mix that is pumped super wet. It has to be that wet to make it all the way to the bottom of the wall, otherwise it sticks to the sides of the cylinder blocks or gets caught up on steel reinforcement. There is a lot of stopping and starting as well as a lot of moving the pump. It all takes time, during which that concrete starts to go off and stiffen up. Things only get worse on a hot day, and the subs will do anything to get more water in the load. Harrowing addicts looking for a fix have nothing on grout pumpers eyeballing your last 20 gallons. As we move to a new street, we find a line of cars parked all along the side of the street we are working on, just far enough apart to take up as much space as possible without leaving enough room for the pump to get in there. Turns out it is another concrete crew setting up to do patios. No problem, we're all concrete guys here and they know how it is. We ask them to move. that I am writing this post tells you what their response was. It turns out they are waiting for their own pump and mixer to show up, and they intentionally blocked the street because they don't want us to be in their way. Their crew chief tells us we can wait for them to finish and move on, or we can just work around them. It's pretty obvious he expects us to wait. Waiting is, of course, going to make the concrete go off even more and will rack up standby charges for the customer. But trying to work around their cars is going to mean blocking the street and rolling up the hose every time we move. Normally the crew just drags and carries it down the sidewalk, but we can't do that with the cars in the way. It would take much longer. Depending on when their pump shows up, it might not even save us any time. Still, Todd the pumper rolls his pump right up next to the lead car and feeds his hose out around it. At the best of times, a concrete pump farts and sputters like a nervous chihuahua, flinging small globs of concrete out of the hopper. If the driver isn't paying attention and accidentally lets the concrete level get too low, the pump sucks in the air. Feeding a concrete pump air is like feeding a hippopotamus Alestra. Crap's not pretty and it gets everywhere. We probably end up moving that pump twice as many times as we have to, but it ensures that every single one of those cars gets to spend some quality time next to the hopper. We finish, are done with the job, and are washing out the pump when the crew chief, whose own concrete and pump still haven't shown up yet, storms over to complain about all the concrete splatter on their cars. I point out that we told them we'd be pumping there and ask them to move, but they refused. At this point, he sees that I have a truck wash bucket strapped to my water tank and demands I let him use it to clean off his car. I tell him that is a terrible idea. Smoking lounge on the Hindenburg levels of terrible. The stuff we use is designed to dissolve dried concrete and will probably damage his car. The concrete is fresh enough that he can probably just rinse it off with water. He isn't having it. He tells me to stop lying. If it doesn't damage my truck, it won't hurt his car. Besides, he's done this before and knows what he is doing. Now, keeping a concrete mixer clean is a downright Sisyphean task. No matter how hard you try, chutes overflow, pumps splatter, and pumps huff cement powder all over your truck. There are a variety of chemicals used to clean off the concrete, and most of the modern mixes are relatively safe for something that can dissolve concrete. Our plants provide a phosphoric acid mix. Relatively safe isn't the same as actually safe to any drivers that need it, so it is quite common for there to be a bucket of it stashed somewhere on the truck. Of course, part of what makes these chemicals safer also makes them somewhat less effective. That's why some of us will bring in our own cleaning products to fortify the company mix. These are not the friendly chemicals that will just leave you with a mild chemical burn. My bucket of fun dips down to the old good old days of leaded gasoline, asbestos, and red dye number 2. Still, I warned him and he assured me he knew what he was doing. Besides, he's intentionally being a jackass and expected my sub to pay standby for his convenience. So I let him have the bucket. I have expected him to stop when he pulls the lid off. The witch's brew in the bucket smells like Walter White's bathtub. Somehow, the fact that his nose hairs are curling up like spiders in a flame doesn't seem to faze him. Brush goes in the bucket, brush comes out of the bucket, brush slams onto the hood of the car with a wet slap. I can only watch in mute horror as the man proceeds to not only clear off the concrete, but bathe his entire hood in hydrochloric acid, rubbing it in to get all of those nasty water spots. None of us stick around long enough to see the final result, but it is already apparent that he has scrubbed off the clear coat and is in the process of etching brush marks in the paint. I don't want to be anywhere near him when that hood dries out. I'll let him keep the bucket. Woof, well, that's what he gets for being a jackass, specifically if he knows what it was like. And you did warn him, OP. Thanks for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.